Revision from Lachman for GPAT. In this video we are going to see tablet section. So all we are familiar with the tablets. All the day-to-day life of most of people goes around a tablet. Since in morning they have to take a tablet, in night they have to take a tablet, so life is around a tablet. Tablets are unit dosage in which one usual dose of the drug has been accurately placed. Advantage if we see of the tablets are tamper proof, they are unit dosage form, their cost is lowest, they are lightest, they are generally the easiest, cheapest to package, product identification is potentially the simplest, they may provide the greatest ease of swallowing with less tendency for hang up above the stomach, especially when coated, provide that tablet disintegration is not excessively rapid. They have best combined properties of chemical, mechanical, microbiological stabilities of all the oral forms. Coming towards the disintegration of the tablet, disadvantages of the tablet, if we see, some drug resist compression into dense compact owing to their amorphous nature of flocculent, low density characters. Drugs with poor weightings, low dissolution properties, intermediate to large doses, optimum absorption, high in gastrointestinal tract, or any combinations of this feature may be impossible to formulate and manufacture as tablet. Many material has bitter taste, objectionable odor. Drugs that are sensitive to oxygen, atmospheric moisture may require encapsulation, entrapment prior to the compression, and tablet may require coating. In such case, capsule is actually offer best and lowest cost approach compared to the tablet. Let's see the types and classes of tablets, oral tablets for ingestion. Compressed tablets, standard compressed tablets, multiple compressed tablets. In multiple compressed tablets we are having two, that is layer tablets and compression coated tablets. Layer tablets in which we can see the differently we can see the layers of tablets. In compression coated tablets there is multiple compressed, there are two materials that have been compressed in multiple compression coated tablets. Chewable tablets, film coated tablets, repeat action tablets, delayed action entry coated tablets, control release tablets. Tablet used in oral cavities that are buccal, sublingual tablets, troches, lozenges, dental cones, administered via other routes if we see that are implantation tablets, vaginal tablets, tablet used to prepare solutions, effervescent tablets, dispensing tablets, hypodermic tablets, and tablet triturates. Let's see the evaluation and quality control test. General appearance of a tablet, how it looks, that comes in general appearance. Size and shape. In size and shape, the crown thickness of individual tablet, if we are measuring, we measure with the help of micrometer scale. And if we want to measure a total crown thickness, we can measure using sliding caliper scale, where thickness we have to control within plus minus 5% variation. Unique identification marking. Many tablets by the manufacturers, unique markings are being given on tablet. It may be a letter, a symbol, anything. It may be a code, markings, specific markings of specific material on a tablet. Organoleptic properties, color properties are in organoleptic. So we are having reflectance spectrophotometry, tri-stimulus colorimetry, micro-reflectance photometer to measure the color uniformity and gloss on tablet surface. Hardness is thus sometimes termed as in tablet crushing strength, the strength which required to break a tablet. Hardness tester we are having Monsanto, Strong Cough, Pfizer, Ervica, Schillinger. If we see the specialty from GPAT point of view, we have to keep in mind the specialty and some uniqueness of that hardness tester. Like in Monsanto, the word may get like barrel containing compressible spring held between the two plungers. Means there are two plungers in which spring is there, and Monsanto, it's in simple. Pfizer, you can keep in your mind pair of plier. Strong cob, hydraulic pressure. Schillinger operates in horizontal position. Most commonly, firstly it was Monsanto and then after Pfizer was became common in hardness testing. Friability. Friability is an essential test. Friability test is official in USP but not in BPIP. What actually we measures in friability, that gets in question in many of mine. That is, we check how much tablet can resist the abrasion shock when it gets in external environment after the manufacturing unit. After the manufacture, when tablets get in another unit, another sections, maybe it packing and other sections of the manufacturing, whether it resists the abrasion shock, that we check in friability tester. So the laboratory friability tester we are having Roche Friablator, in which numbers of tablets with combined effect of abrasion shocks by utilizing a transparent synthetic polymer chamber with an internal dia of 283 to 291 mm and the depth of 6 inch. From a depth of 6 inch, the tablet fall. The chamber revolves at 25 plus minus 1 rpm. Maximum weight loss of 1% is acceptable. Drug contained and release. In drug contained release, we are having weight variation, contained uniformity. Weight variation, if we see USP weight variation test, in which 20 tablets we have to take, but usually we take 10 tablets. If a drug contained, specifically I say that if active pharmaceutical ingredient in a drug, in a dosage is above 90%, then weight variation test is same that of contained uniformity. For tablets containing 90% of active pharmaceutical ingredient, plus minus 5% variation is acceptable. If the dose content of active pharmaceutical ingredient is less than 90%, active pharmaceutical ingredient contents are less than 90%, in such conditions plus minus 10% variations are acceptable. To be saying not less than 90% and not more than 110%. Contained uniformity, except perhaps that tablet contain 90% active pharmaceutical ingredient, because most of tablet don't contain 90% active pharmaceutical ingredient. Considering for smaller dose drugs where active pharmaceutical ingredient contents are less, in such case weight variation precludes good over contained uniformity. Means if we give a large weight variation, it precludes good contained uniformity. So we just give plus minus 15% weight variation. Consider for low doses containing 10 tablets, 9 out of 10 must be within plus minus 15%. To be saying here 15% contained uniformity variations, and the last 10th tablet is allowed plus minus 25% weight variation. Last line is much important from GPAT point of view. Aspirin tablets are specified by USP may contain no more than 0.15% of free salicylic acid relative to the amount of aspirin present. Coming towards the disintegration, the USP device to test disintegration uses 6 glass tubes, 3 inches long, 10 mesh screen at bottom we are using. Simply you have to keep in your mind that 6-inch glass tubes are there that are 3 inches long for disintegration. Stimulated intestinal fluid, gastric fluid, we are using simulated gastric fluids or intestinal fluids. The temperature we just keep 37 plus minus 2 degrees Celsius. Here the important point of view from GPAT, if we see that you have to keep in your mind that types of the disintegration apparatus: type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, type 5, type 6 and type 7. Basket type, paddle type is second type, third is reciprocating, fourth type is flow through cell apparatus, then paddle over the disc, rotating cylinder, and the seventh type is reciprocating cylinder. Most important is that as per IP, Indian Pharmacopoeia, paddle apparatus is type 1 apparatus and basket apparatus is type 2 apparatus. But as per USP, basket type is type 1 and paddle type is type 2. The side chart is of disintegration time for the tablets, where uncoated tablets has disintegration time of 15 per minutes, coated tablets, film coated tablets having 30 minutes, enteric coated tablets are having 1 hour in HCl, 0.1 normal HCl, and disintegrate within 2 hours in mixed 6.8 phosphate buffers. Dispersible tablets 3 minutes, oro dispersible tablets within 1 minute, effervescent tablets 5 minutes, buccal and sublingual not applicable but they must get dissolved within 15. Tablet compression operation, we are having various units that we see in the tablet compression machine, that are hopper, die, punches, cam track and feeding mechanism. Hoppers are for holding and feeding the granulation to be compressed. Dies for define the size and shape. Punches for compression. Cam tracks are for guiding the movement of punches, and feeding mechanism is there for moving the granulation from hopper into the dies. Portion of head that hold the upper and lower punches are called the upper and lower turrets. So the turrets hold the upper and lower punches, and cam tracks guide the movement of punches. Coming towards the tooling, most common toolings are BB tooling, which are 5.25 inch in length and barrel diameter is 0.75 inch. D tooling are the popular tooling for larger tablets with 5.25 inch in length and barrel diameter is 1 inch. Round tablets perform better than irregular shaped tooling since they do not require keying to maintain at proper upper punch orientation with the die. Coming towards the processing problems, capping, lamination, picking, sticking, capping. Capping are the partial complete separation of top or bottom crown of tablet. Lamination, separation of tablet in 2 or 3 distinct layers. Picking and sticking, where picking is problem with the punches and sticking is problem with this die, means material just sticks to the punches and material sticks into the die wall. Colloidal silica, if we add to the formula, act as polishing agent, make the punch faces smooth, material do not cling to them. And to solve the sticking problem, we use dies are available with tungsten carbide inserts. Carbide prevents wear off of die wall, hence sticking is prevented. Mottling, weight variations are other problems. Granulation, size distribution, poor flow. Where mottling, if we see, which is due to improper spread of colorants, rapid cooling, high temperature if we are using for drying. Weight variation problem, granulation size distribution, and poor flow. Due to poor flow property from hopper, arching, bridging, rat holing are some problems. Looking towards the tablet granulation, let's see the tablet granulation. There are 3 types: dry compression granulation, and wet granulation. In direct compression, where the material from hopper directly gets into the die where it been compressed. So in direct compression, no granulation is there, only the material directly being compressed in tablet compression machine. In dry compression granulation, which is also known as slugging, where the material from hopper is fed and the material is being passed from two roller compactor, which are also known as Chilsonator rollers, and other roller machines are also there. When the material pass from that roller compactor, a slug is being formed, and from that slugs granules are being formed by passing through a mesh. Wet granulation process is also similar little, and it goes in stepwise manner, like first stage is pendular, second step funicular, third stage capillary, and fourth stage droplet stage. GPAT point of view, if we see, these four stages are very important. Pendular first, second is funicular, third is capillary, and fourth is droplet stage. Let's come towards the formulation components. So we are having first the diluents. Diluents are nothing but the fillers designed to make up the volume. Volume makeup for making up the volume, diluents are being used. So we are having various types of diluent: calcium carbonate, calcium phosphate, dibasic, tribasic, calcium sulfates, microcrystalline cellulose, dextrose, starch. Some proprietary names are being given. Two hydrolyzed starch varieties, that are Mdex and Cellutab, which are basically 90 to 92% dextrose and about 3 to 5% maltose is there. Lactose is most common used diluent in tablet formulation. Lactose is an excipient that has no reaction with most of the drug. Just one reaction is seen of that lactose when it is in hydrous form, that is Maillard reaction. But this problem is also been solved by using anhydrous lactose. Has advantage over lactose that it does not undergoes Maillard reaction. Sucrose is also used as diluent, and the varieties of sucrose, modified varieties, are Sugartab, Dipac, and Nupac. In Sugartab, 90 to 93% sucrose is there. In Dipac, 97% sucrose is there, and in Nutab it's 95% sucrose plus 4% invert sugar and small amount of magnesium stearate we are adding. Microcrystalline cellulose are directly compressible material which we are using as a diluent with two grades, 101 and 102. 101 we are using for powder and 102 we are using for granules. Binders, adhesives, these are material we are adding in dry or liquid form for compacting the material for directly compressible tablets. Acacia, tragacanth are the natural gums are employed in solution. Modified natural polymers we use as in binder. Hydroxypropyl cellulose we are using as an alcoholic solution. Ethyl cellulose we are using as alcoholic solution, and it may expected that by using ethyl cellulose there is retardation in disintegration and dissolution time of the drug. Coming towards the disintegrant, starch as in disintegrant we use with two new variety, that are Primogel and Explotab. Clays like V-gum we are using. New material like Agdisols we use, which are sodium carboxymethyl cellulose. Another cross-linked products like cross carmellose sodium as in disintegrants we use. Lubricants, antiadherents, glidants we are having, which we add. Material uses glidants, flow promoters like talcs we are using as flow promoters, 5% concentration. Colloidal silica such as Carbosyl, Xyloid, Aerosyl in 0.25 to 3% concentration we are using. Colorants, flavors, sweeteners as per approved, the list given by the FDC, and the colors, flavors and sweeteners which are FDC approved that we are using for tablets. The next part will cover within tablet coating in upcoming videos. Thank you. If you like the video, then do like it, share it. If you are new on my channel, then don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.